and welcome to the hut. Before we get started, if you're new here and you love all things theme park related, it'd be greatly appreciated if you could hit that subscribe button, like button, or even just leave a comment on the videos. This is a pretty new channel and I'd love to expand the hut and bring new content and better content to you guys. I plan on in the future actually visiting the theme parks, Universal, Disney, when it's a little more safe to go. At Busch Gardens, Horror Nights, when it happens next year. I plan to, vlog all those types of trips, and with a better camera, better audio, so any support you can give really helps me reach that goal, and we can grow the community, and overall just grow this channel. In today's video, I'm going to be counting down the top 5 worst HHN houses in my opinion. Now, I'm not discrediting the work of any HHN creatives or executives, as I think they do incredible work. But I'm more so counting down the times where I thought maybe they missed the mark a little, just in my personal opinion. I think they do incredible work. There's not really a lot of just bad houses. I think even their lows are some of the best compared to other events. So again, this is my personal opinion. Now, number 5 and 4, I think I might get a little backlash on. Definitely number 5, but at the same time, 5 and 4 are still good houses in my opinion. There just weren't a lot that were so bad. This is for Orlando's event only too. But for my number 5, it's an original house, and that is Seeds of Extinction. Now, a lot of people love this house, and I totally understand why. And I was on board with you the first half of it. I just felt like this house needed something different. I think it was such a cool concept. I was so excited going in, but it was very repetitive, and that's a big problem I have with a lot of the original houses, that they have this cool concept, but then it's just kind of like repetitive as you keep going through it. So that's why I like originals such as like Slaughter Cinema or even Yeti Terror of Yukon, because I think while they have a concept there, like for example in Yeti they have like that one concept, but you went through a lot of different locations and it was cool to see all that. Whereas Seeds of Extinction, I did kind of just get bored with it. I kept getting scared by the same plants over and over again. I just kind of got a little bored with it. Number 4 house is actually another original, and it was from last year, HHN 29. It's Nightingales Blood Pit. Again, this kind of had the same idea as Seeds of Extinction, where I felt it was just very repetitive. You didn't go through a lot of different rooms. I thought some of the sets were pretty cool. Like at the beginning, I'm kind of blanking, but if you know what I'm talking about, I forgot what that person's called. But the big buff guy with like the iron, totally blanking on that. But anyway, I thought some of the sets were cool, but then I felt it just got repetitive. The lion was cool, but after those 2 things, it was just kind of the same. And to me, I know a lot of HHN fans are gonna be mad at this, but Nightingales aren't that interesting to me too. Even the design of them, like I was just kind of like, oh, because this is my first year going with the Nightingale. I've been going since 2014, I believe. So I had never seen the Nightingales before, and I was just kind of underwhelmed with it. And I felt it was really repetitive, and I wasn't really scared in it. I don't know. I just wasn't that big of a fan of it. So now that we've gotten past the 2 originals that were decent, at least to me, still didn't enjoy them, but at least they were decent. The next 3 are ones that I truly thought they totally missed the mark on. My number 3, The Horrors of Plum House, specifically Volume 2, but I'm just gonna kind of throw them both in there, because even Volume 1 would make this list, but I didn't want to be cheap and just like take up 2 spots for Plum House. But Volume 2 of The Horrors of Plum House featured Happy Death Day and the first Purge, and already those properties, I loved the first Happy Death Day movie. I love a couple of the Purge films, but the first Purge I did see, and I wasn't that big of a fan of it. But just the properties, those properties, even if they were the best movies in the world, they're still not great to turn into houses, because Happy Death Day is just the same room kind of over and over again. And they were, they had some original ideas here and there, but it just kind of felt repetitive. Same babyface killer. And even his mask isn't that scary to me. I know it's kind of intentional, like it's not supposed to be scary, but I felt like they could have made him more scary, but it just didn't work. And the first Purge, they've done the Purge so many times that's all I have to say. So overall, I was just like not feeling that house at all. But yeah, I remember going in 2018, and that was just I knew it was going to be at the bottom of my list, and it was. So yeah, getting up to the top 2. this is the second time this property has actually been featured on this list, and that is the Purge from 2015, Halloween Horror Nights 25. I'm a little salty about this one for other reasons, and I'll explain actually. The Scream was supposed to be taking the place of the Purge this year, but it got pulled last minute and they replaced it with the Purge. I remember you'd be walking through a house sometimes, that's because that was supposed to be sets for Scream, and they just had Purge people there. And so, I mean, it's not their fault. This is not one I'm going to be like, they missed the mark, they should have done better, because like, they had a couple weeks to put this one together. But still, just for the purpose of a list, didn't like this one at all. I remember going through it and I was like, really? This is it? So, yeah, but the one really, really cool scare, it's not really the scare part of it, it's more just cool. This is the coolest thing I've seen at Horror Nights, is I was walking through with my brother at the time, and not my brother at the time, but just my brother, you know what I mean? Okay, and we were walking through the house, and this lady was on the side, and she like, it was kind of lots of strobe lights everywhere, and you're just like, and she's like, oh, sorry, like, can I jump in here? And you know, we're like, oh yeah, go ahead. Like, we thought she had gotten separated from her family, which is their intention. Like, we truly thought she was separated from her family, and like strobe lights were everywhere, and she was like, can I just cut in here? And we were like, yeah, go ahead. And all of a sudden, a Purge dude comes out and grabs her and pretends to kill her, like, in front of us. And I remember the shock, because at first I was like, oh my god, can they do that? Can they touch you? So I was like looking around me, but I was like, wait, like, that was like intentional, that was supposed to happen, and it was just the coolest thing to me at the time. All right, now here we are, my number one least favorite house of all time, HHN. Truly the only one that I've been through where I walked out of like, what the heck was that? And some people might disagree with me, but I really did not like this house. And that was in 2017, Hive. It was the 80s vampire one, and there was no color in it, and what I mean by that, I don't mean like every house like has to be like, you know, disco lights, color. I just mean like the sets, like, you know, there was no like even like a rustic color, it just was all gray. The vampires to me had boring designs, they were all just the same. It's just a house, and the house just was all gray. There were gray walls everywhere, there was no variety in the scene. It's just overall, truly, I remember walking out of this house going, I don't think anything is ever going to beat that for my least favorite. Like, I knew right away, I was like, nothing has been that bad, and I can't imagine anything being worse than that. And it's kind of comforting, because I was like, that's my all-time low. I'm like, I don't think anything's going to go below that. And so far, it's been working out. Let's hope, for me, nothing is as bad as Hive, because I just was not a fan of the house. You might be a fan of it. Good for you. I'm glad. But that was the only HHN house that I've been through where I truly was like, this was just not it, like 100%. So overall, that's my top picks for the top 5 worst HHN houses. Again, this is just my opinion, not discrediting any of the creatives that have worked on the house. I know a lot of work goes into each house. These are just my least favorite rather than worst houses. Just my opinion. So this has been another theme park cut video, and let's hope it's not the last.